All right, I never know when we're live, but I think we should be live. The view count is stuck at 0, so please let me know in the comments if you guys can see us and hear us. Maybe we just have 0 viewers every week. I don't know.
I think that's more the case.
That's more the case. Yeah, we just talk to ourselves. Yeah, so welcome everyone. This is episode 114 of Rocket Lab Weekly, and this week we have the original crew, which is me, myself, and Matt, real Matt Money. So how is everybody doing? Curtis, hi, and congrats on your trade this week. So Matt, how are you
Curtis,
doing?
man, the myth, the legend. I'm good, man. Yeah, I'm very good. Things have been going well. Continue to add to the markets. Excited for Monday. I'll be adding once again more to the markets, so it'll be a lot of fun. Every time I get a paycheck, man, I love to continue to add to the market.
That's awesome. I'm trying to be more like you. I have some really cool things happening in my life. It looks like I will be. I promise so many times I will do a video of the things that has happened to me, but yeah, it looks like I will be able to get my income way up this year, and I will even get time to hopefully be back on YouTube and actually produce normal content like how it was in the past. So I'm really looking forward to it.
And don't beat yourself up, man. You got newborn. You know, you got like 18 kids at this point.
No,
you're doing a lot.
I had a newborn. I had cancer in the family. I had super tough time. Like my company basically went through bankruptcy and had to start anew with 4 kids. And yeah, so it was quite some. It was some very tough years, but yeah, it's going good. New baby. I don't have a new baby. It's Dave G who's getting a baby at any moment.
Up Dave, man.
Yeah, he's T-0 basically, I think, on their countdown.
Yeah, they're on ever what T12 when they have to go through the checklist. That's where Dave's at.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good comparison. Exactly. So so congratulations everybody. It seems like Rocket Lab is back. We are back in the 60s. I feel like a freaking idiot. You know why? Because I was waiting on like closing out my portfolio and going into Rocket Lab if it would have gone a little bit lower. And the reason why I didn't do it is because if I do it after, yeah, but also because there was a tax implication if I did it like before December 31st. And you know what? I was driving today to a Christmas party in the car, and I realized I could have done it without the tax implication. And I'm like, for F's sake. Because, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to bore people with it, but yeah, I'm not going to bore you guys with it, but I just felt like a donkey. So I'm still praying for one more pullback, but things just seem too bullish at the moment.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. So for anybody that's listening, if anybody's severely underwater on covered calls, I think one of the things that you need to think about is that is considered a huge loss. So basically what you buy back at would potentially offset whatever your gains are. So not saying that's the situation you're in, but
that is exactly, because in my mind I was like, okay, I will close out the position and then book a huge gain, because like I am still like largely up on the shares, and then I have to rebuy the position. And then I was driving and I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. Like, if I would just buy back the exact amount of calls that I want to buy in the shares, then I would like book a loss and I would not have and I was like, oh no. But at least it means that whatever my tax is going to be, like that's the, how do you call it, that's the silver lining in this, that I realized that with this solution, like I can buy the stock higher, because like I was going to buy it losing with the tax. I don't know if I'm making sense. You understand? So like now I can buy it like 20% higher and be at the same place as I thought I would be, you know?
Smart man.
Yeah, I don't know. Not smart at the right time, but whatever,
No.
whatever. So, anyways, I hope you guys are doing well, like really good. I saw a lot of people making a lot of money and a lot of people buying the dip, and that's prudent investing. So, really, congratulations, everyone. And yeah, let's start the week with the Rocket Lab Weekly. Let's go through the news. So, first is that launch 19 and 20 are basically on the pad. So first, Rocket Lab announced a launch for JAXA, which is the Japanese Space Agency, which was put off because of high expected winds. And then they announced another launch one day before the JAXA launch. So basically, it would have been 2 launches within like 24 hours or, very close to 24 hours. But that one was delayed due to a sensor issue. And we are where we are. So I pretty much feel like the 20 launches, because this is launch 19 and 20, is in the bag. But I kind of don't feel like we're going to do more this year. We're definitely not going to the 24 or 23 that Scotto was hoping for. What do you think, Matt? Where are we going to land this year?
To me, I think if we get to 21, 22, I think that would be good enough. To me, I'm more so concerned about the trailing 12 month, because that's something that is a little bit more dynamic than specifically hyper focusing on January 1st to December 31st. We've seen upwards of 22 launches on a trailing 12 month. We're currently at 21. So I think that's more important of a metric for me to kind of look at than in year. But if you're talking about in year, yeah, I mean 20, 21, 22, that sort of range. I always kind of was thinking that 24 would be pretty tough, but who knows? Maybe there is a bunch of folks in the back end of the month that really are looking at potentially launching. And I have never really seen them to be forecasting on a positive note or negative note. I've never really seen them forecasting more than 1 or 2 launches out in time. And so I'm very curious if once they get one of the 2 of these launches off, one for KAIST and then the one for JAXA, maybe we'll see another one following up. But there is a long list of potential launches that folks had slotted for 2025 that are kind of sitting in the wings. So
yeah, I mean, that is the silver lining, that whatever was lined up for 2024 and didn't happen, like it goes into 2025, so it just makes 2025 that much better.
26,
yeah. So this launch, just because I actually completely agree with you on the trailing 12 month, it's a much better, much more wholesome view of the rocket launches. So if we would launch on time with these launches, like where would the trailing 12 months be? Would it be 2021?
The last launch in 365 days ago was, I believe, the 14th. So the fact that this is launching on the 14th, why is this being weird? I think would put this at maybe 20 or 21. Let me see. For graphs,
Oh, wow.
It's going to take me a second.
No problem. I just see that somebody commented SpongeRob 72 that apparently Eastern Shore just posted that there's an Electron in LC3. I have to check that out while you're.
Yeah, no. If we, because we didn't launch the other one the other day, we're with this launch today, we'll be back at 20, unfortunately. So yeah, we took a slight dip.
Wow, it's true. It's true. Look. that there is an Electron, which I'm guessing is a haste, going up on LC2. This was
Yeah, it goes to
posted
show
20
you.
minutes ago. Yeah.
There was 20 minutes ago. Okay, wow, good. But yeah,
Yeah.
like in the wings. I mean, I think that there was a few slotted, which I got incorrectly. I forgot who corrected me. I think it might have been Jacob that told me that there's been several launches that are non-haste out of LC2. Obviously, I know that there's Virginia's for launch lovers. That was the initial inaugural launch before even haste. But yeah, there were several slotted for LC2 that were non-haste, and then there are several slotted for haste before the end of the year. So it could very well be that you end up at the 22-23 range for the year.
How cool of a finish of the year would it be if they launch like the Korean one, JAXA, and this one within like 3 days of each other? So like 3 rockets in 3 days, and then, ooh, that would be epic.
I foresee, wild prediction, that we will see within the next 5 years 4 launches in a week.
Yeah. When did you say in the next? Matt, what was your prediction?
5 years?
In the next 5 years,
we'll see 4 launches in a week.
The next 5 years, isn't that like a super far out prediction?
I mean, that's my time horizon. I don't know about you, Vince, but I've always kind of thought in 5, 10.
You mean like, okay, like average for electrons a week?
No. I mean, like we will see like 1 week. I mean, that's pretty tough to do. 4 launches in a week, no?
Yeah, I mean, like SpaceX is like, that's their current. Yeah, I mean, but like what I mean is like continuously doing it, super tough. But like as a happenstance, like I think the 4 could happen maybe next year, that you get 4 launches in a week. I mean,
I think that's pretty bullish, but
Vince is bullish. But I mean, but you understand my, like, because I'm saying that to get 4 in a week once is way easier than getting like 4 in a week for like 10 weeks in a row, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just stating facts here. I mean, the current launch cadence is like once every 16 days. So to get 4 in a week, I mean, is dropping that cadence down to once every 2 days. I mean, that's pretty pretty tough.
That is okay, cool. So we move on to the next piece of news, and that is that we got a contract award. It's not exactly the one that we were all waiting for. This one is not a huge award. It's from the Canadian Space Agency to develop a new class reaction wheel, which was a 25 millimeter reaction wheel, and Rocket Lab will get paid $999,951 Maple dollars for that. What is that? That's like 50,000 US, or what is that, Matt?
Like 20. No, but I think it's like 66 cents on the dollar right now, something like that.
Okay. So it's like $600,000.
I'm sorry, 73 cents on the dollar.
Okay, so $730,000. I'm sorry, all my Canadian friends. It was just a joke.
We have a lot of Canadian investors like Tevis and Tanner that I chat with, and I give them crap all the time. I say, what is that, $20? Like, so.
Yeah. Wasn't one of them hired by SoFi? I saw something on Twitter.
Yeah, Chris. Chris was hired by SoFi, not Patel. I forget Chris's last name, but yeah, he was hired by SoFi.
And then he quit YouTube and everything.
I don't think he ever had an independent YouTube channel. I think he did a lot more.
Okay, like Twitter,
and what's the other one? Substack. I think he might have done.
Yeah. Cool. I send them freedom dollars. Okay. We roll with the Canadian jokes. So cool. So yeah, I mean, this is not the SDA contract. I think maybe I'm not a space engineer, but because Rocket Lab has like a 5 nanometer one, a 10 nanometer one, a 6 nanometer one, an 8 nanometer one. So I think to develop a 25 nanometer one should be fairly simple for Rocket Lab to do. And one last point that I want to make on this is it's very interesting that if you read, I think, the Canadian thing, it's like, yeah, we invested in Canadian space tax and Canadian jobs because Rocket Lab is like they bought Sinclair, and that's the solar arms, or that's the guys that make the solars for Rocket Lab, and that was a Canadian company. And then I guess Rocket Lab proposed that they keep these jobs or add these jobs to that plant, and suddenly it becomes a Canadian domestic company. And I just kind of love it how Rocket Lab, like, it's so funny how it originated in New Zealand, so it's like not really a US company, and people don't think about it as a US company despite it's headquartered in the US and listed on the NASDAQ. And it feels like they can make themselves, like, they bought Mynaric, so for the Germans it's a German company. They bought Sinclair. For the Canadians it's a Canadian company. For the New Zealanders it's a New Zealand. It's like, it's amazing. They can get contracts from many nationalities, because I can see how SpaceX is, like, a bit polarizing and mega American.
Yeah, I think it goes. I think it's part of the diplomacy of not just Sir Peter Beck, but all the Kiwis. I feel like they're very, very welcoming group and diplomatic group of people, and I think this is what will truly differentiate SpaceX and Rocket Lab going into the 2030s and beyond, is that ability to launch for the Koreans, the Japanese, the Australians, the European Space Agency. So I'm very, very curious to see how these initial contracts that we're starting to see coming out of key and prominent geographic countries, like all the different countries, really plans out and continues to grow legs, because as we've seen, this isn't going to go away. This is only going to continue to be a larger proponent of what people want to do going into the 2030s and beyond.
Yeah. Cool. So now we have a ton of Neutron updates. So first off, I want to show you guys a video that I don't think is going to work with the sound. This was on the launch video of the Korean satellite that basically was like they stood down because of they was scrapped, but they still snuck in a Neutron update there. So I just want to quickly show that. Please let me know if there is sound.
Nothing yet. Yeah, no sound yet.
Okay. So we go back here and we reshare it.
I want to say shout out to our boy Rusty for becoming a new member, man. Much appreciated.
That's awesome. Okay, so here we go.
First launch in 2017.
Is there sound?
Speaking of first launches, alongside our record year of Electron missions, the team has been laser focused on preparing to launch Neutron, our much larger and reusable rocket that's scheduled to debut next year. Neutron is more than twice the height of Electron and about 6 times as wide at the base. And like Electron, Neutron is made of carbon composite as well. That will make it the world's largest carbon composite rocket that's ever launched when it takes to the skies from its test, launch, and landing site on Wallops Island in Virginia.
Now, to power a rocket that big to deliver 13,000 kilograms of payload to space, you need a powerful rocket engine to take it there. And while we build and test Archimedes in NASA's Stennis Space Center in Mississippi, we are looking for the best and brightest talent to help us out. So let's take a quick look at what goes on at our Archimedes engine test complex.
That looks pretty solid. I'm gonna go at our facility.
Yeah, I think Stennis is to me, the mecca of rocket engine testing in the country.
Energy here is always at a high level. I think everybody enjoys what we do. They take pride in what we do.
A lot of people come from a lot of different backgrounds, some in testing, some in aviation. That comes a lot of knowledge, a lot of skill sets that we could teach each other.
You come to work and every day looks a little different than yesterday. You just consistently have to always be on your feet and thinking. At the same time, it's pretty awesome because we're seeing things that, likely other people haven't seen before. And then at the end of the day, you're test firing engines.
We have fun, but we know when it's time to buckle down and get serious, it's all hands on deck. At the end of the day, we know what the goal is and we know how to accomplish it.
Prepping these engines, testing these engines, any reconfigurations that need to be done, any hardware swaps. There's a lot of work that goes into it. We all have the same mindset of there's an issue, then we just have to fight through it and move on to the next one.
I think one of the reasons why I'm here specifically is because I love getting hands-on on the engine and making those changes in real time.
In my last job, it was repetition, so you do the same thing every day. Here, I like it because it always keeps you on your toes,
We are empowered with a lot of responsibility in making things happen. And again, because we have such a small team, we get to wear multiple hats.
There's only a few of us in the world that's allowed to touch the equipment that we're allowed to touch. And we have a brand new program at the tip of our fingers.
Archimedes is going to be in its own class of rocket engines. And so we're doing things that have never been done before.
Cool. So that was an amazing video. So if anybody's here qualified and wants to, feel free to apply to work for Rocket Lab. The next piece of news is again full of Neutron updates. So it's unbelievable to see. I must say, props to the Rocket Lab community in New Zealand and in the US. It's unbelievable how we are getting the pictures before the company is able to post them. So Murray J, I probably say his name wrong, was posting already that Neutron is on the go, and then 3 or 4 days later, Rocket Lab basically confirms that that is the stage 1 that is going to, like, the top module of stage 1 that is going to LC3. Then here's another one. I don't know if there's sound now.
Mm-hmm.
I can take down the sound. So here they are lifting. Do you remember this one, Matt? That this used to be at the facility. I think it was called the Neutron Integration Center or something like this, where we met, and then we were guessing like what this was for, and we were correctly guessing that it was for testing the stage 2 of Neutron. But for me, it didn't seem out of place because, I don't know why you need to put it on the actual launch pad. But so that is also happening. Here is some more pictures of that, and sorry, music is playing.
Why you're saying? Why would you need to?
Yeah, because it didn't look out of place for me. Like, it was logical that the Neutron parts go to that facility, and then it's like it was somehow next to that building, and then you would. But I guess where I'm wrong is, like, the one engine, the one Archimedes that they have on it is so powerful that you do need the flame trench to take care of it, and maybe it doesn't hurt that you have all
So the current pad is designed to lock in the feet of the Neutron, right? So there's going to be like 4 different, for people that haven't seen the top. I'm sure that there's pictures of it that Dave, or maybe if not, I need to post them. But basically, there's these little clamps that will tie onto the actual Neutron rocket itself. I believe that this is sitting on top of that, and so because it's not an actual Neutron rocket, and they're going to have to static fire test the first stage once it's all set up with its Archimedes engines. I'm assuming that that's what this is for, because you're going to basically probably insert the stage 1 engine basically with its fuel cylinder and test it all together with the water deluge, and you're gonna have to put it into some sort of contraption that can hold it, and as well as not allow it to shoot up into the sky. So I think it's twofold. It's something to kind of house it, and then two, something that'll prevent it from lifting.
Yeah, and I guess as people are commenting on it, like the deluge system is there, all the fuel pipes are there. Like it's kind of logical that you're going to be hot firing it like quite often, and then like back there where we saw it, like there was no fuel pipes, or so yeah, I guess it's.
Yeah, I mean
but
the way that they're doing the single testing down in Mississippi, they have the two stands there. So if they're doing any like individual engine tests, so I don't think they're going to do individual engine tests utilizing this test stand. I think it's for an integrated stage 1 engine.
Yeah, but I think this is for stage 2. Like the stage 2 is the one that has one engine and the like that goes out of the Hungry Hippo.
Ah, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because I think
that as well.
I think that the stage 1 they would put directly on the pad, and they would like just not release the clamps.
I guess we'll have to see.
I think it says in the description
Probably right.
also that it's I'm not sure now. Okay, of course, when I need it, so we don't see it, but whatever. And then, as I said, ton of Neutron updates. So, and then back in New Zealand, they are doing a new test campaign. Thanks, Murray J. I don't know how he says his name. Is it Murray J or Murray J or? Yeah, please let us know in the comments. So, yeah, it looks like they are testing a stage 2 test unit, and they are lifting it up and down. That's what we see on the pictures. I have no clue what they are testing with this. And yeah, so there is definitely a lot of visible motion with Neutron. And I must say, I like that very much.
Interesting. It looks like they're trying to hang some sort of weight at the bottom to test the components. I don't know.
Yeah. It was so cool, that we saw the Neutron things that they were being strapped, like the Hungry Hippo, and we were like, what are those straps? And then Rocket Lab posted about it, and they were like, yeah, we were testing the tension and how much force it has to open. And I guess this will be something also that they will come out with a tweet, and they're like, this is what we were testing, and it's like, oh yeah, it makes total sense. Mr. J. Murray. Okay, maybe that's how he says the name.
Yeah, Jacob chimed in. I think he meant LC2, but yeah, an orbital launch.
Somebody says it's a drop test. I'm not sure that it's a drop test. I don't know why we would drop a rocket.
It looks like to me that they have a bunch of pulleys and stuff attached to it to do a tensile strength test, but I don't know. I'm not smart.
Yeah, it does seem like it, I must say. Cool. So yeah, that was for Neutron. Again, I love that the community is so. I mean, how cool is that we like from multiple places on the planet we can see before they even announce what they're doing. I'm not sure that Rocket Lab is as happy about it as we are, but I think it's very cool that the community is so great in researching. Cool. So next piece of news. So in the blink of an eye, MTO, Mars Transmit Orbiter. It's too late for me. Mars. I don't know. It's Mars Orbiter, and the T is for telecommunications. Of course. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's how late it is here. So just became infinitely more critical. In addition to its own science, MAVEN serves as a communication relay for the rovers on Mars. Without it, the amount of data those rovers can send back to Earth will be significantly impacted. The world needs strong leadership from NASA and Sir Isaac Mann right now to move decisively on Rocket Lab's MTO proposal. No other company on Earth can deliver this quicker, cheaper, and with quality better than Rocket Lab. So, and that tweet was prompted by a post, NASA loses contact with Maven for Mars orbiter. I don't know if they got the contact back and this was handled, but it just shows how fragile communications with Mars is. And as Sir Peter Beck correctly points out, like before anything, any human or space exploration or sample return, you have to be able to communicate with the assets that you have there, and it has to be reliable and high bandwidth and not insanely outdated. And yeah, so I don't know. What do you think about this piece of news, Mr. Matt?
I don't really have any other than I think Rocket Lab is in a good position to get any future contracts. I don't know. I think that they're gonna potentially test it out with Escapade to see, how good of communication they can continue to have, and hopefully the continued execution demonstrates the capabilities that Rocket Lab has in house, and hopefully continue to win future contracts associated with it.
So, interesting point that you raised there. Do you think that in NASA or the people who are going to award this contract, they are thinking like, let's see how the Escapade mission does, and if that's a success, then it's like given that Rocket Lab will get this, or they probably don't want to wait that long because the contract has to be awarded. As far as I understand, the money was set aside for the contract to be awarded, and yeah, but then NASA doesn't have leadership yet, or I'm actually not sure why it was not awarded already.
No, I'm going to say something that's probably controversial, but at the same time, it comes from a complete place of ignorance because I have no idea on the inner workings of the of NASA. But from what I saw demonstrated with respect to the Mars sample return conferences and everything that's I've been seeing about the MTO, people trying to position themselves to win, it seems like there just needs to be an overall transition of hat at NASA to really get themselves into the next wave of the space race. It seems like they're still operating like it's the 90s and early 2000s, and the bureaucracy is really starting to kill the innovation over there. Yes, they've taken strides to be more welcoming to companies like Rocket Lab, but at the end of the day, the wavelength of these projects is still too long. And if we want to compete against the others against the world that are making great progress against us, like India as well as China, and we're starting to see Japan come out with their hoppers as well, we really need to focus on, really trusting some of these private companies. And I think that we're going to get a lot further if they really trust them. And I know people are going to be hypercritical because they already are trusting them. Obviously, Rocket Lab does have NASA contracts, and you're starting to see other contracts go to SpaceX, etc. But I think, taking a little bit of a risk associated with some of these things rather than hyper focusing on success. I'd rather see us try to send up 4 or 5 test satellites for NASA and see which one sticks and go forward with it, than hyper focusing on, well, let's check it 18 different times, and and there's pluses and minuses with that, right? Like obviously I'm trusting a guy who like Peter Beck who definitely fancies himself with respect to precision and making sure that things are executable. But I think that there's places where that mindset works, and there's other times where you really need to focus on just getting shit done, regardless, and testing the boundaries of things. And unfortunately, I think that NASA is so hyper focused on, measure 20,000 times and cut once. And I think that that's important when you're talking about, first trialing out a prototype for like a launch vehicle or something like that. It's different if you're talking about exploration and things that have never been done before. I'm okay to fail and fail fast. So I don't know. I'm looking at it on both sides of the coin.
Yeah, I agree with you. Cool. So now that was all the Rocket Lab news that I had, except I just wanted to also mention that, of course, we had this big crash after earnings, which I think was a tantrum from investors because of the Neutron delays. And we had a rebound rally this week. The stock is super nicely up, and again, congrats for everyone that was buying the dip. And it feels like that this rally is on the back of space data centers, everyone talking about space data centers, and the news that SpaceX is planning to IPO at a 1.5 trillion valuation in late 2026. I wanted to check with you, like, what do you think the latest, like, what was driving the latest rally? And on the space data centers, like, how should we think with, because like Rocket Lab, I feel like Rocket Lab will have the keys to space with Neutron, but it doesn't have a specific plan to make data centers in space. But it's also, once they have Neutron at Cadence, it's extremely easy for them to pivot that way. So yeah, like I'm just curious, as you're a very wise investor who I look up to. So how do you have this in your head?
Far from wise, but I think that you're not giving Rocket Lab enough credit. Well, let me take a step back. Let me talk about the SpaceX piece first. So for people that are not following, SpaceX did internal sales for private investors. So they do a semi-annual sale to be able to have people buy out or sell some of their positions, because obviously some of the SpaceX employees are paid via shares. They can then sell those to Google or whomever to purchase them without diluting, right, any additional shareholders or anything like that. It's just a way for people to monetize some of their equity. Apparently, SpaceX and inside owners of the company purchased about $2.5 billion worth of stock from people that are wanting to sell, and a lot of those sales traded hands at about the $800 billion market cap range. So which was last reported last week or earlier this week, whatever it was, at about potentially 600 billion. But apparently, a lot of them were actually changing hands at about 800 billion. So that's pretty interesting. The thing that
did I hear you right that you said SpaceX bought from the employees and they resold now with at this $800?
No resell. No. They didn't resell.
No, okay.
Sorry, let me explain this again. So employees of SpaceX get paid in stock-based compensation. Yeah, twice a year, semi-annually, they do a stock sale where people can then monetize some of that. Some people have been holding for a long time. Some people want to buy houses, etc. From what I've understood, I don't know who within or if it was SpaceX in general, but bought $2.5 billion worth of stock from other people that are wanting to sell at 800 billion. So I'm not saying that they reissued or anything like that. So they're not going out to find new shareholders or anything like that. That's not what I heard. I heard it was basically that SpaceX had bought, or insiders, I'm not 100% certain, had bought $2.5 billion worth of other people's stock within the company.
That's very bullish. That's like a stock buyback. If SpaceX did, it's like a stock buyback. If it's insiders, it's insider buying of 2.5 billion, and that's very, 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 very bullish.
Yeah, obviously they would only do that if they, believe that they're gonna go higher in the next year, which then leads to this 1.5 valuation in 2026. This seems a little high to me, but at the same time, the thing that I don't know, two things. I don't know what the 2025 fiscal year report looks like. So I'd be curious to see what the X1 or the S1 looks like if they put it out. Because last I checked, they were making about $12 to $15 billion in revenue. And the ops profit from that was like $3 to $4 billion. Not sure what the net profit was, but obviously they were spending billions of dollars a year Hence the reason why they continue to offer more shares to people to be able to get more cash to be able to continue their operations. So what it looks like for fiscal year 25, I'm not sure. If they hit $20 billion in revenue or they hit 25, I don't know. And then also as a terminal piece, I mean, what do they really think is going to be the future of the space economy? Are they thinking by 2035 we're going to be on Mars and you're going to have people purchasing, tickets from SpaceX to be able to go to Mars and be able to get that opportunity to fund that? Are they anticipating that you're going to have the United States funding that? I mean, I don't know exactly what their end goal is after Starlink, right? I mean, for now, it's mostly just been focused around Starlink and getting to Mars. But how are you going to monetize that for a reason why it's going to be $1.5 trillion? And then if it's $1.5 trillion, what kind of multiple are you putting on that, right? Are you just saying, look, this is irreplaceable to be able to do something like this? You're going to need $1 trillion worth of funding to be able to do this. And obviously Elon's put in, tens of billions of dollars, maybe even upwards of $50 billion to be able to get to where he is today. To be able to replicate this is literally a 1 in 100, 1 in 200 sort of chance. So shit, yeah, put a multiple on it, that I don't know. And how it pertains back to Rocket Lab, I think that you're undervaluating the space components business of Rocket Lab when it comes to, the need for potential data centers in space. Sir Peter Beck on the Motley Fool interview just earlier this week that was released, and I think it was recorded probably closer to a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, said at the moment that they're the largest, if they're one of the, if not the largest in solar, space-based solar manufacturing, which I think the second place would be Boeing. And then the other piece was the reaction wheels, which I'm sure would make Scotto happy if he was here. But he basically said that because of their massive amounts of satellites they're trying to build reaction wheels for, they're probably the number one manufacturer in that as well. So both of which are going to be needed in space data and data centers in space. So whether or not you're actually generating the actual software and the actual like chips and stuff, that'll probably be left to people like NVIDIA, Google with their TPUs, etc. But so you're still gonna have to build the satellite buses which house those, and who else makes great buses but Rocket Lab? So to me, I think that there's more of synergies. I mean, it took me a while to digest after Francisco and many others were kind of like talking about data centers in space, and I was kind of like a little bit far-fetched. But I mean, solar panels in general are going to generate 6 times more. Obviously you have no atmosphere. You're able to run 24/7 comparatively to like the 10 hours a day of sunlight that you get, plus like 2 or 3 hours of shoulder light. So I could fully see Rocket Lab taking a full advantage of potential.
Yeah, I also thought about this, and obviously, even if let's say SpaceX owns the data center, you still need the solar panels, you need the chips. There's going to be other data centers that is not SpaceX. All of those need to be launched, they need to be replenished, they need to be serviced. And yeah, as Sir Peter Beck says, what's good for space is good for Rocket Lab. But so do you also think that then this recent rally was this newfound space data center narrative, that it's so easy for Rocket Lab to pivot into it and take part of that market?
What do you think, Vince?
I mean, I think it was like I think the crash was like that the reason why we went down 50% after the earnings. I think it was a tantrum from investors because of the Neutron delay, and then I think the reason why we had such a sharp rebound was, I mean, this I think it's twofold. It's the realization that if SpaceX IPOs, I think that there's going to be like a halo effect that, holy cow, if that space company is worth that much, then Rocket Lab should be closer to it. And I don't think you and me think like this, but I think that there's enough investors that think like that, oh my God, if this company is 1.5 trillion, how does it make sense that the second most successful space company is 20 billion, you know? And while you were speaking, I was doing a little bit of math. I mean, if SpaceX goes to 25 billion, did you say they had 12 billion this year or last year?
I don't remember if it was 2023 or 2024.
Yeah, but let's say that they reach, let's say it was 2024, and in 2025 they reach 25 billion, then the 1.5 trillion will be a 60 price to sales, which is very pricey. But I mean, if you have a good narrative with the space data centers that it's going to even go higher, and if the 25 billion is in 2025, and let's say that they're closer to 40 or 50 billion, then the current, the current year price to sales would be 30 for SpaceX, which is, I mean, it's a high valuation, but it's not like unheard of, or I could see that realistically happening. So let's put it this way. First, when I heard it, I was like, who the F would be buying at that valuation? And now that we did the math behind it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I this might go down, actually, as it might happen.
Yeah.
All right. So then there is another interesting piece. I love this IPO topic. This tweet really caught my attention. So one side effect of the SpaceX IPO may shake things up at Blue Origin in a manner reminiscent of when LIGO detects the gravitational effect of black holes merging. The most recent New Glenn launch, by all accounts, was a smashing success. Lots of dedicated BO employees worked a lot of long hours to make it happen under intense pressure. However, despite being known for very good salaries, BO is not known for equity comp. Even more relevant, to my knowledge, happy to be corrected, it has never offered a long-time current or past employees liquidity through tender offers. If there was some grumbling or resentment about that before this recent launch success, I expect it will amp up quite a bit now after, especially if they now soon see a bunch of SpaceX employees reap the benefits of equity comp. Something to watch. So this is like such an interesting second order of consequence of the SpaceX IPO, that like the Blue Origin employees, like, yes, like, I guess they are very highly compensated, but you can have SpaceX employees that were with them in the early times who will be 100 millionaires or potentially billionaires. I mean, Gwen Shotwell is a billionaire because of her SpaceX equity comp. And because Blue Origin is stingier in their stock-based comp, and you have no possibility for a liquidity event, I mean, that potentially will result in engineers wanting to leave and work for SpaceX, or Matt, as someone who has experience with stock-based comps because of the company you work for, how do you think that this affects morale and people at Body Odor? I mean, Blue Origin.
I mean, it definitely helps align people with staying there, and part of it's retention as well, right? Like if you don't have stock-based compensation that, say, vests over the course of several years, and you're just getting a salary, well, all somebody needs to do is offer you a salary that's slightly higher, and you'll go there. You know, what equity is tying you to that? And also, if you have a little bit of equity, you're able to think a little bit more about what's the vision of this company. I own part of this company. I now bleed part of this company. The success of what I do is the success of this company. And, you know, rather than just catching a salary, hey, you just need to show up to get that, right? You don't need the company to perform. You just need to show up and make sure you don't get fired, right? So it definitely adds another lens to it. And especially if you're looking to build morale within a company. You need some sort of stock-based compensation, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that let's say that you're working on the BE4 engines of Blue Origin, and then let's say you're what's a good salary for them? 150,000 a year, 200,000 a year? Like what do you think would be? Let's say he's getting
whom?
for the guys who are working on the BE4 engines at Blue Origin.
The technicians, yeah, 100 grand a year. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So let's say they're earning 100 grand a year, and work-life balance, kumbaya, everything, and then they meet like SpaceX like employees who are also earning 100,000 per year, but they got equity comp for, I don't know, the last 5 years, and now they're like multimillionaires doing literally the same thing that these guys were doing at Blue Origin. I mean, that would tick me off a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it also depends on where you see the trajectory of each company as well, right? And what the work-life balance looks like, if at all, right? I know that traditionally SpaceX is pretty tough. There's not a lot of work-life balance going on there, but Blue Origin might be a little bit easier to come and go as you please. I'm not 100% certain, but that's obviously a consideration as well, and what somebody wants out of their career. Maybe somebody wants to really be in a purpose-led organization. Maybe somebody just wants the paycheck and just go home, and once they're done, they don't have to think about it. So to everybody, hopefully there's obviously people that continue to work at Blue Origin. So there's obviously some people that are maybe not as happy as they would want to be, but see the value in working in it.
Yeah. Cool. This is all I had for this week. I don't know if you have something more you want to add.
Maybe just some words of wisdom. I see a lot of people that were very bearish when the price was getting down to into the 40s, and I think this is something that people just need to recognize. Like, this is not the first time that the company will dip. It's not the first time that it has dipped, and I think you're still in this speculative path with the company. It's not profitable yet. And so you saw a lot of companies that were in the speculative nature, smaller cap, medium cap sort of companies that are catching a bid with respect to future endeavors out there, really take a price retracement in the course of November and beginning of December. And it's not something that was surprising to me. I wasn't surprised to see a lot of these companies start to really get cut in half, and it's in my opinion a foreshadowing of what could happen if a true recession and true hands-off event happens, and I'm thinking more along the lines of 2022. And so just looking out for the folks that are potentially got really nervous or was frightened by that, and maybe thought, hey, this is riskier or more volatile than I expected. I think that wasn't even that tough. I actually welcomed the fact that we dropped that much. I bought some more. But if you're sitting there losing your crap, I get it. I was down, close to 7 figures at its worst point. Not specifically on just Rocket Lab, but just in general. And I was laughing waking up in the morning. I was like, thank God. Like, I've been waiting to buy more stock, and here we are. But maybe I'm mentally sick in the head, which is probably true. But the thing that I think you need to recognize is, like, that'll happen again. And as your portfolio grows, it'll go from losing a couple $100 is scary to you to losing $1,000 is scary to you to losing 10,000. And so just keep in mind that, are you willing to do that? Is that just because it's never happened to you before? Are you okay to stay the line? Or is it too scary? It's okay to admit that it was too scary for you to go invest in something less volatile, like the S&P 500. But at the end of the day, I think people are thinking that we're out of the woods. It's like, yeah, we might be out of the woods temporarily, but there's going to be another dip in 6 months from now, a year from now, and 18 months from now. Are you going to be able to withstand that as well? And I saw a lot of people shaken out. Some people stayed the course. But and everybody deal their own, right? If you have stuff that you want to spend money on, and you're saying, hey, I'm done, I made my money, I'm good. I'm not going to say like thou shall not sell. I mean, it's your money. You know what you need to do with it. You invested. But my hope is that you don't let emotions ruin your opportunities for the future. If you're selling for cause, and you're selling because you need the money to purchase something, you met your objectives, etc., and you're not just whimsically trying to swing trade in and out because you think you're smarter than the market. I see that happen way often. I saw a lot of people saying, damn, I was really thinking it was going to dip to 30 or 35. It didn't. I didn't get to buy. And it just goes to show you, like, don't try to be smarter than you really think you are. Like, the market doesn't give a flying fuck if you want to buy at 30 or 35. So to me, if you really just think that the company is going to be worth $150 billion one day, about $275 a share, then why not just buy today? It doesn't make sense to me why people are trying to pinpoint a perfect execution. You might get a 10% better entry price. You might get a 5% better entry price, but you might not get out at all. And so I guess it always is to me, I always wonder like whether or not people think that they're being like smarter than they really are. I'm dumb as shit. I'll be point blank. Like I tell myself every day that I don't know what's going to happen. And so to me, every time I get a paycheck, I buy more because I know in 10 years time, the stock's going to be worth more than $30 billion. So why not buy? So I don't know. That's just the way I look at it. I said that a couple months back in terms of, I think that there's going to be a retracement. If that's going to be volatile for you, be cautious. I think this might be a relief point for some people. If that was scary to you, think about it. It's going to happen again and again and again. And until this company is a blue chip stock that's, 5-10 years down the road, generating ops cash that meets all their cash flow requirements for capital expenditure, etc., I don't think you're going to have low volatility in this name. I think it's going to be extremely volatile. But hopefully that with what happens in the next 18 months when we start to get EBITDA break even and cash flow positive, the volatility will drop a little bit.
Yeah, and the only thing I just want to add to it is super wise words, and also for the people that are on margin, because I saw some people who was like, I'm totally wiped out of my account. I think you even commented on one guy and you asked like, how can you be wiped out of your account when the markets are like 5% of all-time highs? And like, did you buy like yesterday? And most probably, so like for the people who own Rocket Lab on margin, if you have a 2x margin, a 50% drop like wipes out your account basically. So I have really learned not to do margin in general, and instead focus on increasing your income and do what Matt does. Like every time you get a paycheck, just buy more, and as the time goes, you're going to have a very big position.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to say what I do is right either, right? Like
it's such an interesting point. But you're here, and your portfolio is one of the biggest that I know, because like you see all these like cyber princes, and like all these people are coming, and it's like, I timed it perfectly, and everybody's a genius in the bull market, But unfortunately, those guys, like, they get shaken out in the like when you have these dips that we have had, And in the end, like the people who stay are the guys who are, I'm saying it funnily, who are unintelligent and who don't think, and it's a good deal, I'm going to buy, I'm not using leverage, and I'm just accumulating, like and if technical trading would be working, then the billionaires would not be Warren Buffett's and Charlie Mungers, they would be the technical traders, but who are trading on margin, but those guys are not the billionaires. The billionaires are Warren Buffett and maybe secretly Matt here.
Yeah, I mean, I think so many people look at it like share prices and this, that, and the other, and like that. To me, the share price is a proxy of, hey, this is a company I want to buy. This is what its market cap valuation is, and I don't care, if I pay $50 or $100. All I care about is what is the market cap. The market cap is more important to me than the share price. And I think so many people get caught up in share prices that they forget that underlyingly they're buying ownership in a company. And anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
Wise words. Cool. Thank you, everyone. Enjoyed today's episode. It was very cool. Again, congratulations for everyone on this recovery. And let's. I don't know if we get an SDA contract announcement before Christmas. It's probably coming in the New Year's, I think. But hopefully we get 21 launches. It would be epic with 3 launches in maybe 3 days or 4 days after each other. So cool.
Yeah, let me see. Unfortunately, after today, the next launch was the 22nd of 2024. So unless we speed up the cadence, we might drop a little bit. But I mean, we hit 22.
Yeah. So I mean the rocket is vertical on LC2, so like that one can go off. So yeah. But cool. Anyways, may your sky stay blue and your stock stays green. And I'll see you guys next week. Ciao, ciao.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Yeah, thanks for coming.